everybody? Welcome back to the Journeyman Sports Podcast. Got something a little bit different for you guys today. Going to be breaking down the 2023 Big Ten men's basketball tournament. It's March Madness. So, you already know, we had to talk about the precursors to the big official tournament. And that starts with, in my opinion, one of the best, the second best conference, maybe not the best, in all of college basketball, which is the Big Ten. Um, this conference has been loaded all year, very good competition. Um, so we'll go ahead and jump right into it. We will start at the bottom here. Hopefully, you can see the little mouse circling this game. Minnesota at Nebraska. Minnesota is one of the worst teams in all of college basketball. Obviously, they're the worst in the Big Ten. Nebraska's not bad. They had some up and downs this year. Neither of these teams, like really, however you want to pick this game, my opinion, whoever wins is just going to go get beat by Maryland. I'm going to pick Nebraska to move on over Minnesota. And next, we'll go with our other play-in game, which is Ohio State and Wisconsin. Winner of this plays Iowa. This was a tough game for me to pick. I really am going back and forth on it even now. I have the list next to me on this note card for who I think is going to win, but I think this game is going to be really close. I don't want to say this is going to be necessarily one of the better games of the tournament, but I think this is going to be very close. These two teams, they did play, I believe, at one point this year. Yeah, it was a very close win by Wisconsin at Ohio State by only 5 points. I think Wisconsin is ultimately going to take this game. I think this is going to be very close. And I think Wisconsin is just a little bit too solid. I think they're a little bit better coached. I think ultimately that's going to really pull through for the Badgers in this game. So we'll go ahead and work from the second round on Thursday. We'll start at the bottom, work our way down. Rutgers in Michigan. Rutgers is a team that has been ranked on and off not all year, but they've played well this year. They've exceeded their expectations. They have big wins this year coming against teams like they have beaten IU. I know that. I'm pretty sure. Yep, they beat IU early in the season. They beat Purdue, beat Maryland, beat Northwestern. They've beaten some really good teams in the Big Ten. They've also lost to bad teams like Minnesota. They lost to. And, this is going to be an interesting game. Me personally, I'm going to pick Michigan to win this one. Michigan just played a very close game against IU. I think Michigan is just a little bit better of a team. Their big man, Hunter Dickinson. They've also got Jeff Howard, Kobe Buffkin. They've got some really good players on that team. As much as I don't like Michigan, I ultimately do think they will end up winning that game. And I think that's going to be a pretty close one, too. I think that'll probably be a lower scoring game, good defense. But I think ultimately Michigan is going to get a much needed win for their chances at potentially trying to sneak into the NCAA tournament. And that moves us to our next game, which is Iowa and Wisconsin. I'm sorry, Iowa and Wisconsin. And this one, don't think this is going to be a particularly close game. Iowa's been really good this year. They're led by Chris Murray, who might be a lottery pick the way he's closed the season. Trying to see if they have played. They have played before. Yeah, Iowa actually lost to Wisconsin at Wisconsin this year. That was a very bad game by the guy. I was just talking about Chris Murray, who only had 5 points. I don't see that happening again. Iowa has gotten a lot better since that game. And I think Iowa is the dark horse team to potentially win this whole tournament. So I'm going to go with Iowa to win that game. Next up, we've got Penn State and Illinois. This is a game I think is not going to be too close. Illinois is a really solid team. Not to diss on Penn State and say that they're terrible, but I think Illinois plays a better style of team basketball. I think it would Penn State is solid, but they really have to get hot, I think, to contend in this game. Illinois is very sound. They've got a lot of good players. They are pretty well coached. I think better coached than Penn State. And try and see again if I can find if they've played this year or not. Penn State just doesn't really do anything that wows me. They've got some okay shooters on that team. And let's see. They did beat Illinois at home. And yeah, one of the Penn State players, Jalen Pickett, had 41 points in that game. Don't exactly know if that will happen again. I would not bet on that. They have actually beaten Illinois twice. Yeah, I don't know. There's just something's telling me that Illinois is just playing better right now. I'm still gonna roll with Illinois. I think it's really hard to beat a team 3 times in 1 year. So I'm gonna pick Illinois to win that game. And then for the final game of the second round on Thursday, we've got Maryland and Nebraska. I'm going to roll with Maryland in this game. Like I said, I just don't think Nebraska has enough to really give Maryland a run. Trying to pull this up. Wow, Nebraska did beat Maryland this year once. There was, yeah, Nebraska had a player with 23 and another one with 22. And then Maryland smoked them when they were at home off of a very balanced breakfast by Maryland in that game. Maryland's very solid. They've played especially well down the road this season. I'm going to go with Maryland to stay hot and win this game. So next up, going into round 3, the quarterfinals on Friday. And we have got a lot of good basketball games. We will start out at the top again, where we have Purdue and Michigan will be playing. This is an interesting one. Purdue has the Big Ten Player of the Year, which, even in my opinion as an IU fan, I think it should have been co-player of the year between him and Trace Jackson Davis. But that's neither here nor there. Purdue, they were the best team in the Big Ten, obviously getting number 1 seed. They finished number 5 in the entire country. And coming into this game against Michigan, Purdue beat them at Michigan by 5 points. And I think have they played twice this year? They've only played once this year, so this will be their second matchup. I think Purdue is still going to get this done. Michigan, if they win this game, I think they might find themselves into the NCAA tournament. So Michigan certainly has a lot to play for in this one. Purdue is a lock. They really are just trying to win this tournament to see if they could steal a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. I think Purdue is just a better team. I think they're going to be able to beat Michigan in the half court, especially if Purdue can shoot well from the free throw line, not turn the ball over. I think they win this game, not quite running away, but I see this being a solid 8 to 12 point victory for Purdue, and they're going to move on to the semifinals where they play the winner of the next game between Iowa and Michigan State. This could be a pretty fun game. Got 2 teams that can put up points. Trying to see it again if they've played this year. They have, which this might have been the craziest game in all of college basketball this season. In an overtime game, Iowa came back down by, I think, 10. Yeah, they came back down 10 with like 30 seconds left. End up forcing overtime, and they beat Michigan 112 to 106. crazy game from both sides. And I think this has the potential to be the best game of the tournament. Yeah, Michigan State beat Iowa at home by 2 in January, and then in February, the 112 to 106 game. This is going to be one I'm very interested to watch. I cannot wait. I really hope this does happen. I hope that we get this matchup of Iowa and Michigan State. This will be a very high scoring game, and I think it's going to be whoever is hot. And me personally, I'm going to bet on the Hawkeyes to win this game. I just think that Iowa, they have, when they get going, and it's easy to say this about any team ever, really, but when they get going, they are truly one of the hardest teams to beat. They have guys that can shoot the ball from all over. They all play hard, play for each other. And as much as Fran McCaffrey, their head coach, is a total douchebag, I think Iowa wins this game. And then they are going to get another shot at the number 1 seed, Purdue. So moving into the bottom of the quarterfinals, have Illinois and Northwestern. I don't know how much I really think this game is going to be a contest. I really like Northwestern. They are a team that really kind of came out of nowhere, to me at least. Northwestern lost to Illinois in February. Really, they had one guy. Northwestern had one guy play well in that game. Boo Booey with 35 points. They did play twice this year. The series is 1-1. So really get the ultimate tiebreaker here. And Northwestern has played really well down the stretch in Big Ten play. I'm going to pick them to keep rolling. I'm going to say they beat Illinois by about, a similar 8 to 12 point range. I think that would be a very solid victory for Northwestern. Northwestern is trying to fight to get a 4 seed in the NCAA tournament. And I think they have a good chance if they make a run in this tournament. So next up, we've got Maryland going against my favorite team, the Indiana Hoosiers. This has been a pretty interesting series this year. Actually, it might not even have been. Hold on. I'm trying to find this. Give me 1 second, guys. Just trying to pick through this. Struggling today. Let's see. So this is IU and Maryland. They have only played once this year, so I was wrong on that. That was a win for Maryland at home. IU has been weird down the stretch. They beat teams like Purdue, Illinois, and then they get swashed by Iowa. They come back, they beat Michigan by 2 in overtime. IU is one of the really hit or miss teams all across the country for all of college basketball. And I mean, IU has a very good shot to lose this game. They have just as good of a chance to win it. Maryland is the same way. Both these teams are a little bit inconsistent. I still like IU. I think with Trace Jackson Davis, who is one of the best players in the country, Jalen Hood-Schifino, who's the Big Ten Freshman of the Year, shooters like Miller Kopp, Tamar Bates, hustle, really good players like Trey Galloway, Race Thompson. I think IU just gives Maryland a little bit too much. I can see either team really winning this game, but me personally, I'm going to pick IU to win. And now we are into the semifinals, which can't really extend on this, but this is going to be where it gets interesting. We've got Purdue, the number 1 seed, against number 5 seed Iowa, and number 2 Northwestern against number 3 IU. So we will start, as we always do at the top, with Purdue and Iowa. Now, this is a very interesting game. You have sort of a battle of two opposite styles, and I think this is going to be a very crucial game for Iowa, especially trying to make sure they secure a spot in the NCAA tournament, which I think they will with at least 2 wins like I have them getting in the Big Ten tournament here. Purdue beat Iowa this year at home by 14. It was early February. I don't see that happening here. Iowa needs to get hot, obviously, I think, to win this game or to stay in it. Zach Edey versus Rebraka, Iowa's big, is going to be the real story. And Iowa did not do a super great job on Edey in the first game. But we have seen teams play Edey a lot better. IU, Wisconsin. We've seen it down the stretch of this season. Not that teams have figured him out because he's still going to get his. He's 7'4". He's just too big to really take out of a game. But if Iowa can shoot well from three, that is an area where Purdue is not great. They have shooters on their team, don't get me wrong. But if Iowa can get hot from three, and I think make Purdue play from behind, that's where they're going to have their best chance. They're going to need a really hot start in this game, in my mind, to win it. Ultimately, though, I think Purdue is too solid. They have the best coach in the Big Ten and maybe in all of basketball, and Matt Painter. College basketball, let me clarify that. In all of college basketball. And I'm going to pick Purdue to win this one. I see this being a very tightly contested game. Even if Iowa's down late, IU fans especially, we all know they can shoot the lights out and get right back in it. So I'm going to pick Purdue to win over Iowa. And Purdue will move on to the conference championship and will face the winner of Northwestern and IU. So now we come to the real nexus point of the tournament for me. Purdue, in my opinion, is hoping that Northwestern wins this game because we know Purdue's not had an answer for IU yet this year. We'll get to that in a minute. IU has struggled against Northwestern this year. It's no doubt. Especially, they've been two really close games. They've both been decided by a score or less. And in the second game at Nebraska, or not at Nebraska, at Northwestern, there was a very controversial no call where one of the Northwestern players clearly extends his elbow all the way out, pushes our guy about 5 feet back, gets a wide open layup to win the game. Northwestern wins. Neither here nor there. But Northwestern and IU have played really tight this year. Northwestern ultimately is 2-0 against IU. To me, I think IU is going to win this game. Like I said, it's very hard to be the team 3 times in a year. And I think that is what we're going to see in this game. I think IU will have a better game plan going into this. We all know, I mean, if you've watched the Big Ten at all this year, if you're a fan, we know how bad the Big Ten referees especially are. But I see this being a big game for IU. And the game at Northwestern, if I am not mistaken, yeah, hold on one second. I'm just trying to check something because I'm pretty sure. Yeah, really, we had 3 people score really double digits and have good games. I think you can expect better from that for this upcoming game. And I just think IU is going to have it figured out. I think they've got their focus aligned now. And I think this is going to be a game where IU can out-strategize, out-game plan, and Mike Woodson is a better coach. I'm going to pick IU to win this one also very narrowly. And then we get round 3 for IU and Purdue for the Big Ten championship. And this is a very interesting game. I really don't even want to pick this because I think it's such a toss-up either way. We know IU is 2-0 against Purdue. They won at Purdue by 8 points. They won at IU by 5 points. Biggest part of this game, obviously, is Zach Edey versus Trace Jackson Davis. The 2 bigs, 2 of the best bigs, and probably the 2 best bigs in the country. And 2 guys who this could be their last time squaring off against each other. And they get a chance to put their mark on the final game of the year. 2-0 doesn't really mean much if IU loses this game against Purdue. And the 0-2 against IU for Purdue doesn't mean anything if they win this game. So This, I think, is the best case scenario for just viewership for the Big Ten, for everything, is if this is the game that we get. IU Purdue round 3 for the Big Ten championship, neutral court. Let's roll the ball out and see what happens again. It is very, very hard to not pick IU in this. I know I've said it's very hard to beat a team 3 times, but for some reason, I feel like if you've watched those games, IU has just had Purdue's number. For whatever reason, IU is always they've come to play both times against Purdue this season, and it's everyone has come to play, not just Trace, not just Shafino, and it's been the same for Purdue. Both teams have gotten the other's best shot, and I think that's what makes this game so great. And I am gonna pick IU to win. There are Purdue fans out there, or other Big Ten fans. Go ahead, go at my head in the comments, but I think IU, they're just pretty freaking solid right now. I think the overtime win against Michigan is good. I also think IU crowd is going to travel very well, and that's going to be a factor in this game. So will Purdue's fans. I can't wait. I'm hoping for a good tournament period, but obviously I really want IU to win. I think they have a very good chance to win. They're the second favorite to win the tournament behind Purdue. And I am very, very excited for this. So let me know in the comments what you guys think. If you guys are Big Ten fans, IU, Purdue, Northwestern, Iowa, whoever, let me know your guys' thoughts about who you think is going to win the Big Ten tournament and who your guys' dark horse pick is. For me, my dark horse is Iowa. I think they have potentially the best shooting team in the Big Ten, and that is something that can really come to their service. Live or die by the 3 is kind of their motto. So Iowa's my dark horse pick. I'm picking IU to win the whole thing. This has been the Journeyman Sports Podcast, episode 32. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, I'm Garrett, just one half of the show. Cade couldn't be here, sadly. Trying to record some of these in advance so we can get everything out to you guys over the next week or so. Should have lots of good content coming your guys' way. Make sure to stay posted with us. Thank you guys as always for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.